Alright, going to try another one of these top 10 formats. The game in the background is me trying to do one of the difficult bounties on the website. And yeah, so top 10 feature requests. These are all things I've requested before. Probably other people have requested them as well. But we'll start off with unhide elo. So maybe some people don't know this, but in Arena, there are actually different brackets of players. So not everyone can get matched against everyone else. And it's kind of annoying not to know which bracket you're in. And the only way you can really tell is by comparing the strength of teams, or by seeing other people who you know are in the same bracket. I think it would be much more beneficial to actually just show which bracket people are in. You know, that would solve a few different problems, things like beginner players saying the game's too easy because they don't realize they're in the bottom bracket. It would also give people an incentive to keep playing the game if they feel like there's a progression to a higher level. But yeah, pretty simple one. I don't think that would be too difficult for the devs to implement. Next up is pack icons, another very simple one. I would really like to see the option to select food or toys or some of the other pets, you know, the token pets. You can achieve this by editing your pack code yourself, but it's obviously a bit of a faff, so it would be much nicer just to be able to select those without having to play around. Next up is bring back some of the retired artwork. So there's quite a lot of custom artwork that's been created for the game that's since been removed. Things like the mean bug, which is pictured here, but there are actually a lot of pets that had redesigns. In fact, quite recently they removed the puppy artwork that was designed for the game and replaced it with a new one. So I really would like to be able to select some of those old drawings. I think just any extra customization is good, especially in this type of game. So I've definitely seen a lot of other people request that same thing, and I think it would be much appreciated. Definitely a lot of nostalgia for things like Mean Bug. Easter eggs. So I think I would really like to see more Easter eggs. I mean, everyone loves Sloth, and I don't think we need to add so many that Sloth becomes cheapened, but I think things like Sloth popping in for the Golden Retriever is really funny, but it would be nice if there was other rare occurrences, maybe, one in every 500 deer spawns a tractor or something instead of a bus. Just little things to look out for that make each run, or can make certain runs, feel a little bit more unique. And I mean, the Sloth is great, but there's going to be a lot of people who play for months and never see a Sloth. So yeah, just something like that to brighten up particular runs. Profiles is next. I think this is a pretty obvious one. I'm sure a lot of other people have requested that. There's a lot of info on a per player basis that is useful to know. Things like which packs other people have, which achievements they've completed. We've got lots of stats. We've got replays that we could share. We could even potentially have packs that are shared via a profile page. So a lot of stuff that could be done with that, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that's probably already on the list of features to be added. But yeah, it would be a great addition to the game. All right, next up I've called versus any pack, which is just to try and fit it into that little circle. But essentially here the idea is I would like to be able to play Arena where I choose which packs I'm going against. So currently you can choose to face mirror matches only. So if you choose Turtle Pack, you're only going to play against other Turtle players. Or you can choose versus any packs. And that will mean that you can play against Turtle, Star, Golden, or Puppy as well. However, weekly and custom are always excluded. And you can only play custom versus custom and weekly versus weekly. And I would kind of like to be able to choose anything. I would love to be able to try playing Turtle Pack against custom, which is obviously going to be a lot harder, but why not? It's an asynchronous game. It doesn't really matter as long as the information is presented on screen, so you can easily tell that someone is playing versus easier packs or versus harder packs. I think there's plenty space on the UI and also on the win-loss screen at the end to actually show that info. So yeah, let me play it against any pack. And that suddenly adds a huge range of extra options for Arena players. And we're going to go with harder Arena next. And what I mean by that is give me a bunch of options to make Arena harder, not just hard mode. And to be honest, I thought this was probably what hard mode was going to be like when it was announced. but I just mean I want to be able to play a lot of the challenges that people like me are often running, but do it in the game without having to concentrate too hard. So for instance, let me disable the roll button. Let me disable the ability to freeze, or let me start with less than 10 gold. Lots of simple restrictions like that can immediately make arena runs that much more challenging and just give people extra things to do. Especially in the static packs, where you may have probably exhausted all your options. Of course, most of these challenges you can implement them yourself. You can do a no roll challenge very easily, but it's so easy to accidentally click that roll button. It would be great to be able to just disable them. And of course, if you add those challenges into the game, you can then have achievements that are linked to them. So it would be pretty nice to be able to actually have an achievement that says I've completed an oral challenge. And that leads us into number 3, which is better badges, which I'm using as the word to represent achievements in this little circle on the right-hand side. Essentially, I think the achievement system in the game is not great. And, every time there's more pets added, you end up with a whole load of new achievements that are all very, very similar. And people tend to just play 3 or 4 scalers, the pet that they need for the achievement, and then they just do that on a loop. So you end up just doing the same thing over and over again. And I feel like it would be much nicer to have lots of different types of achievements. So maybe you would get them for winning with unusual types of teams, kind of like what we have with the bounty board on the website. But also maybe something simple like, the first time you win with on turn 10, so you get a perfect game. Then you get an achievement for that. Level 3 pets by itself just isn't interesting, and every time there's a new pack, you're getting 120 new achievements that you have to grind for, and almost all of them are just the same. Alright, second top is replay random. So I actually saw someone else request this exact same feature recently in the official Discord. The pack randomizer in the game lets you play customs with a random pack, which is great. A lot of people use it for versus lobbies as well, but I would really like to be able to randomize and then just play again with another random pack. So at the moment, what you have to do is after you've finished your first game, you come back to the main menu, then you have to go back, edit your pack, randomize it, and then go back and start another game. I really would like just to have a button that lets me re-roll the random pack and go straight back into Arena. And this could also tie into the achievements on number 3, where if the game knows that you're playing a random pack, instead of just a custom pack that you've randomized, then maybe you could get an achievement for actually winning with that. I think a lot of these features on the right-hand side of the screen are all kind of interrelated, and you add one and it opens up a whole load of other options for everything else. And top of the list, I've called it snack share, but really I kind of mean gifting snacks. And I think it would be a great way to be able to acknowledge other players. So say you get matched with an opposing team that you really like the look of, it's something different, it's something unique. You want to reward that player because they've improved your experience of the game. So you can click a little icon in the top right hand corner and send them some of your snacks. And as a player who has a huge excess of snacks that I don't need, that would be such an improvement to the experience for me. And it would also be really nice to log into the game and suddenly have a bunch of little notifications pop up telling you that other people liked what you were doing and sent you some snacks to reward you. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, just anything, because at the moment, obviously, the game has no direct player interaction. And I think that's a way you can achieve it without actually having to have messaging systems or anything like that in there. So what do you think of my list here? Have I missed anything obvious? I'm sure there are lots of great improvements that could be made to the game, but these are the ones that come to mind for me when I think about stuff that I would really like to see.